What's up with my APA family? It's your boy L, APA, coming through with another video, some solid content. You guys already know, man. Trying to get the youngsters and the reoffenders up about that system or from going in there to begin with, right? And as you can tell by the good old caption, that uña, that thumbnail, getting crossed up by a dude from Columbus Street, right? CLAVO, all that stuff. Guys, hit those likes, man. Hit the subscribe button if you like the video. You know, I appreciate every single one of you guys' support. Been gone for a little minute, but hey, hopefully we're back at it. So let me get into this one, man. I'm gonna take you back to Centinela State Prison. I was right there on CR on the 270, the level 4, and me and one of my crimies end up going on a mission. Meaning we ended up removing somebody. I told the story a while back. I don't think I've retold it. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Remember, guys, I had my last channel. Might have told the story on there. Where we took homeboy off the yard because he had some questionable paperwork, but he had a pass from one of the senores, one of the EME members, and the EME member ended up going to the side, meaning he ended up dropping out, so therefore he was left in limbo. So obviously it didn't work out for him in the sense where we had to take him off the yard. So we took him off the yard, man. We get to A5 and Centinela. A5 was at seg overflow. We were there. Me and my crimey on the removal was some padrinos. T from padrinos. I said Tricks. I said his name before. Shout out to him wherever he's at. I don't know if he's active or not. But anywho, so we're there, man. And you know, whenever we go on a mission, back then at least, it's different now because you know, the senora saying in the back might be the same to a certain extent. But anywho, every time you go on a mission, they give you your license, basically your permit, something that tells the mess on the back and the hole. Anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about with the back is the hole. Ad seg, administrative segregation. And it's a kite basically saying, hey, camaradas, sureños, remove so-and-so for these reasons. Llamada by this dude, the mess on the yard to the mess on the back. So, and this is around the time with the mesa, guys. Understand that I don't tell stories. I don't express stories that on dudes that are still active, especially the senores and things like that. I really only express my stories and my experiences behind the things that I know that it's not gonna get anybody caught up. You know, granted, there is people that think like, oh, you're talking too much, blah blah. It is what it is, man. You're never gonna change those people's minds. They're super sureños. All right, so we get there, man. We're in A5 for a while. I had told the story before that we got caught. They flip-flopped us in A5 with a PC that kept going off on the cops. And so they put us in the middle of a bunch of PCs at the time, SNYs. When SNY was rare, it was rare, man. They didn't really have no yards, you know. So anywho, it took us about a month just to get our paperwork up to the homie because we couldn't fish. We had a little rat hole. For those of you that know what that is, we had this much space underneath the door. We couldn't fish, and there was a little rat hole at the edge of the door. So, yeah, man, we're sitting there. We're waiting to go to C6. C6 is the main hole in Centinela. For those of you that are familiar, C6 is where all the camaradas are. I mean, we got camaradas, good camaradas in A5, but they're just chilling there. The ones that are long-term at the time being validated, getting snatched up, and given indeterminate shoes for being associates of the Mexican mafia, they were in C6 waiting to get to the shoe. And the shoes were packed at the time, so dudes were sitting there for a couple of years at least. So we get there, and finally, man, we land where we land. We're in the orientation pod. After we get from the orientation pod to the regular pod, I got to D pod, which D was the pod where you wanted to be, in the sense where that's where the homie was from Linwood. He had the hole in the back. He had the whole oil. You know, he was the main mesero for the whole oil. My neighbor from Orange County was one of the meseros back there, and I landed right next to him. Honestly, I landed there. My celly was from Sherville, from Pomona. And we ended up flip-flopping because his celly was a dude from Orange County as well, the J-Cat that I ended up getting fucking into it with. So we flip-flop. And then maybe about, I'm going to say a month or two later, maybe about a month, 3 weeks, a month. It had been maybe 2.5 to 2 months after we had taken the homie off the yard. The homie from Linwood gets at me, and he gets at me directly. You know, usually you had your pod rep, you know, the dude that has the pod, things like that. At the time, it was some dude from IE, I think, had the pod. I don't remember his name. But no, T gets at me. Another T gets at me. He's like, hey, when you guys sent back here, did anybody give you anything? Anything, you know, anything specific for somebody? And I was like, nah. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking like, nope. I don't think Trix had anything given to him at all. You know what I'm saying? So I get at him like, no, my boy, you know, all I had was a couple of personal huilas for the camaradas, and you know, obviously our little license, our permit, our license, our driver's license. So sure enough, I get at him, but in my mind I'm thinking like, man, there's something to this. Homeboy's not gonna be asking me this randomly. So I get at Trix, and we actually landed in the same pod. You know, that's not rare, but it's very, very fortunate, because you got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all those pods, right? And Trix could have very easily landed on any one of those pods, but we actually landed on the same pod with a different celly. And it would have been very hard for me to reach out to him. And this was very fortunate for us, because we were able to be in the same pod when this issue arose. Otherwise, it would have took days for us for the homie from Linwood to reach out to another pod, get Trix response, come back, all that good stuff. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, man, it takes days. You have to have patience in there. It's not like we could just leave the cell and go talk to each other. Not on the whole. So I get at Trix. I'm like, hey, bro, like, what's going on? You know, like, hey, this would just hit me up, talking about if they gave us anything specific. And he reached out to me first, because I'm the one that pretty much took the lead on the jale. I'm the one that the homie freaking pretty much come to the door and things like that. Trix was the second one. And Trix took it lightly. He's like, nah, it's all good, bro. You know, you're overthinking it. This is a nap. Anywho, I don't know how much later, a couple of days later, I don't know how much, homeboy gets at me again. And only this time, he's like, hey, homie, were you given a clavo, blah, 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 this is and that. And I was like, nah, homie, I was not. And at this point, he's telling me that it's hot clavo, and it was clavo. For those of you that don't know what clavo is carga, drugs. And he's telling me this was supposed to go to a señor in the shoe. And at this point, I'm thinking like, oh, hell no. This is some serious shit. What the fuck? At that point, I get on the vent, and I get at the homie that's on the mesa, and I tell him, hey, that's a good thing I had the other homie on the mesa. But even though he was on the mesa, his celly from Sherryville, from Pomona, he had been down 20 years at the time, and he gave me some great advice. He's like, hey, look, check this out, man. Were you fucking around the yard? No, I wasn't. How did you go on the mission? I raised my hand. Okay, he's like, highlight all the positives, and you don't have no negatives. Basically, speak on yours. You raised your hand for this mission. You're a Sureño. You're not a drug addict. None of those things. You don't have a bad reputation. You don't know money. So your reputation is everything, guys. Your reputation on the yard is everything. If you're imagine if I would have been a fucking, at the time, owing money on the yard, getting strung out, all that shit. My word pretty much means nothing. But at the time, that wasn't the case. So that's what I told the homie, like, hey, check this out. I mean, that was great advice. It's something I would have said anyways. But at least he put it in, and he gave me a reassurance that was the right route to go. And you guys keep in mind, at the time, man, this is my first mainline. You know, technically my first mainline. And I was young. You know what I'm saying? And the whole spectrum of the prison system, and politica and all that, I was a youngster, man. I was barely learning the prison shit, you know? So I get back at him with that response, and he reaches back to me, and this time, only this time, he shows me the kite of a dude from Columbus Street, Tiny from Columbus Street, saying that, hey, he was inquiring, basically saying that he was under the impression that me and Trix were sent to the back with a clavo that he had going to one of the senores. I'm going to omit the senor's name. But the dude from Columbus Street was validated, and he was just waiting to go to the shoe. And but the homie from Linwood, just by him showing me that kite, told me that I had the benefit of the doubt, meaning he was basically taking my word for it until the investigation ran its course. And yeah, sure enough, Trix gets at me like, hey, homie, fuck this shit. Hey, can you believe this fucking vato is fucking saying that we fucking stole this clavo? Nah, Charlie, homie, what the fuck? You know, pissed. And I'm like, I fucking told you, homie. I told you, dog. You took it lightly. I told you, this dude's not going to be asking this shit for no reason, homie. That's in prison. When somebody asks you a question, they usually already know the answer to it. And the only reason they're asking you is just in case there's a little room for wiggle, meaning something that they were told wrong, or they just want to see, to dig yourself deeper, or give them enough to give you the benefit of the doubt before your ass gets blasted off the yard type shit. So when it comes to politics in there, it's just vicious. So this is what I did. I told him, look, homie, check this out, T from Linwood. Tell homeboy, and homeboy knows this is true. Tell homeboy that as soon as we get a chance, we're going to move in with each other. Sign that chrono. We're going to move in with each other. We're going to handle our business. We're going to handle our business. We're going to go at it with fierros, because at this point, you're putting my life on the line. You're crossing me up on some bullshit that's not even... I was 100% sure that this dude, I don't know where he got his wires crossed up, that I know for sure that that's not what we did. We didn't keep no clavo or nothing like that. And at this point, I told T, I was like, look, I don't give a fuck, bro. He's like, nah, hold on, bro. Let this go through. Maybe it's a misunderstanding and this and that. I was like, nah, it's all fine and dandy, but no. I know it's going to get cleared. But once it gets cleared and we're still back here, let the homeboy know that I'm going to move in with him, bro. I want that action first. Trix was on the same page. He's like, I got next. Because that type of shit is career ending. At the time, you guys got to realize, man, that even though in 2017, which is literally 10 years later, I ended up under the side, but that was a different time. SNYs were 75% of the system. The cause to me was dead, and the ideology just wasn't there, bro. The loyalty, too many dudes had checked in, senores, all that. It was just a mess. So I didn't have belief in that lifestyle no more. But at the time, I did. At the time, fuck that, bro. You got me fucked up, you know? So, and I'm not saying this, I'm a big badass or nothing. Don't get me twisted. I was nervous as fuck, you know? I don't want to do that shit. But, hey, in order for you to preserve your career, your reputation, things like that, and this was trying to get me killed, oh, man, hell no. By not doing his homework, I don't think he did it on purpose, vindictively. But by him not doing his homework, he could very easily got me killed. Imagine if I would have been a user at the time and I owed money, they probably wouldn't have given me the benefit of the doubt, and they would have stabbed the shit out of me as soon as they got the chance. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I couldn't let it go. So time goes by. My MERD is up, meaning I'm gonna get kicked out of the hole. Minimum earliest release date. I think that's what MERD stands for. So I'm talking to the homie on the vent. He's like, look, this is what you got to do. Boom, 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 boom. So I hit the yard, went to the block. First thing I did, because it didn't get resolved. You know, I wasn't there long enough. Strapped up, made a fierro, strapped up, went to the yard. And at the time, there was this dude from Pacas. He used to fuck around a lot. He used to get high a lot. So I'm thinking there with my wheels turning in the back in the hole, like, damn, did this dude keep the clavo? Did this dude fucking, you know, did he send me on this mission, kept the clavo? And he's like, fuck it, it's gonna land on me. I wasn't sure. So I went straight to him. And I was like, hey, dog, when you sent me on this holiday, did you give me anything besides a kite? He's like, no, homie, I just gave you a kite. So that right there automatically kind of gave me some sense of relief, but I was still on my toes. Because at the time, man, for those of you guys that understand, they were blasting the shit out of dudes. So I was like, all right, cool. My next move was going to be confront him with the mesa, and then I was just going to tell the mesa, go ahead and take a walk, and I'm going to blast this dude. And then I'm going to go to the back where I knew I had support from the homie in the mesa, the homie that had the hole, and then I was going to handle my business back there, go to the shoe, talk to a senor, and that was that. But thank God, man, I got there, and at the time, the homie from Florencia, from Florencia had the yard at the time. And I put him aside like, hey, let me get at you, man. And I told him the whole issue. And as soon as I mentioned that dude's name from Columbus, he was like, the fuck? Hell no, homie. That fool had nothing coming, dog. I told that fool that I was going to bless him with a few grams, maybe, you know, if I could. But he's like, nah, hell no, homie. That fool ain't got nothing coming, dog. I ain't no CLAVO back there with him. And that shit right there gave me a big sense of relief. But, I don't know, man. They be telling people that they're clear, they're straight. So when we finished the conversation, I was like, so I'm cool, bro. I was good. It was like, yeah, you're good. You know, I was like, all right, look, homie, just in case, the first holiday that comes up, let me know. I'll go to the back. That way I can go talk to the homie, Q and the homie from Pomona. It's like, all right, cool. Boom. And then the rest is history. But you know, as it turned out, man, 2 weeks into it, I was strapped up every day waiting for it, you know, because a lot of the times, bro, most of the times they tell people that they're cool. And then before you know it, you're getting blasted off the yard. Obviously, they're not going to tell you that you got something coming, which is fucked up. But I mean, a lot of fools used to PC up. So, yeah, that's what happened, man. I almost got crossed up like that off a dude that thought he had CLAVO coming, thought he had juice. And it turns out that all he wanted to do was get to the shoe with some fucking jale, CLAVO, just to fucking kiss the senor's ass and shit, or get himself out of whatever the fuck he was going through. I don't know if he was in trouble or not, but who knows? I don't know. But I vowed from that day on to get in contact with them, meaning settle up with them. But I was never able to happen because at the time the homie from the mesa didn't allow it until after everything was figured out. But yeah, man, that's the story, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I got some more videos coming. Love you guys for tapping in. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you guys are already up to the end. And, you know, it is what it is, man. Don't forget, one life saved is one life blessed. A smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. Else, I'm outie.